Chris is a little worried about being on camera, but hi, and welcome to another episode 6 of the Spatially Challenged Knitter and Very Laughing Friend. And today we have kind of a special version going because we have a crochet version. And I take full credit for Chris's crochet prowess because way back when she was home with Emily and Emily was a newborn, she said, I need a craft. I need something to do. And I said, well, why don't you try and knit? Oh, I don't want to knit. Well, why don't you try and crochet? And she said, well, I don't know how to crochet. And I said, well, I'll show you. I know how to crochet a little. Okay, my mother-in-law taught me how to make a snowflake for my Christmas tree. And so she was teaching me and we starched it and I have one completed snowflake and a lot of crochet string that I was supposed to make a lot of other crocheted snowflakes and I never did. And so anyway, I taught Chris how to chain and that kept her busy for quite a while because she, she's a perfectionist and she had to learn how to chain, and then it was like, oh, Chris, these aren't even. So then she'd rip it back, and so I'd get her to that. And then in the meantime, I'm like looking up on my phone, what's part of the thing do you stick the crochet hook into? And so then I had her chain, stitch into the chain and come back. And then she made like a little square. And then after that was my teaching her how to crochet. And so without me, none of this would have been possible. I do take full credit for this. And she quickly, by the time, I was over there, the next time she was making sweaters, hats, scarves, anything you can think of, and entering things in the fair. And, but if I would have never taught her that chain, that first chain, this, you might not have ever happened.
That is where it all began.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a question for you. This is a non-knitting crocheting question, but okay, do I smell funny?
What?
I was out of perfume this morning, okay? And like for me, getting up every morning, putting on my perfume.
Such a random question.
But it's.
So do you want me to sniff you?
Yeah, sniff me.
You do not smell funny.
Okay, because
I don't know what that smell is. But it's not
old perfume that was like from that.
Yeah, it does smell a little stale perfume.
Yes. Okay, it does.
It does smell
okay, so I got to get rid of
stale
it.
Perfume,
but
yes.
it's like for me, a part of getting dressed every morning is spraying on my perfume, and I
don't use that one anymore.
I never ever run out. Never run out.
Okay.
And this morning I was like, "Where's my next bottle?"
Maybe next time go all natural.
Yeah, I guess I should have. But I was like, "My next bottle, where is it?" And it wasn't in the drawer. And it's like, "Oh my God, I forgot to order perfume." I always have a backup bottle.
Yeah. Well, the backup bottle that you use, don't use that one anymore.
Okay. Yes, yeah. It's very ancient, so I guess I'll get rid of it. But yeah. So, do you use perfume every morning?
I use essential oils.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah.
All right. I've never understood perfume ads. How can you buy perfume from just watching some girl run down the street in Paris in a gown?
I don't know. So the new trendy one is the Sol. What's it called? Sol de Janeiro. Yeah, Sol de Janeiro, which is what all the teenagers are wearing. And so Sol de Janeiro is the big thing, and you can smell that a mile away.
Like Axe on boys.
Yes. It's Axe, but it's the Axe version for girls. Is the Sol de Janeiro stuff, and it's really funny because when my students come up to me to like ask questions or whatever, and then they come over and they ask for a question, and I'm like, oh, somebody got into the Sol de Janeiro a little too much there. You don't need that much.
Okay, Chris, I met when I was a middle school teacher, and she's still teaching math, and when Axe first came out, there was like an overload of Axe. Like the boys would just spray it on like it was going out of nobody's business, and they would come in from PE, and thank God, I mean, they were putting it on, and so we didn't have the stench of the coming in from PE, but the Axe smell was just like overwhelming.
Yes,
so
yes.
yeah.
And now it's the Sol de Janeiro.
Okay, I have to smell this Sol de Janeiro.
Yeah,
okay,
it's really bad.
Okay, all right. Well, so that was my random. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Well, I didn't want it like you.
You just smell like stale perfume.
Oh.
It's all good.
Okay. I didn't want you sitting next to me the whole time going, ew, she kind of smells today. That's not her normal smell, and it's not. But okay,
it's all good.
All right. So, well, I think we should probably get into the knitting.
Okay, great.
And crocheting.
Yes.
I have no finished objects, none whatsoever. Well, I take that back. I do have, and I will insert a picture of a baby wearing the finished object. I counted it as a finished object in the last podcast, but I hadn't sewn on the buttons, and I had undone the ruffle, and it was all pinned together, and we thought it was perfect, and it flattened out again immediately.
I remember that one.
And so I got some elastic thread, went underneath the ruffle and ran like a kind of a basting thread and pulled the ruffle tight, and you can't really see it.
And it looks super cute.
It looked super cute. So I will insert here a picture with a little star over her face so we do not out baby Margot on social media, but I will show you what it turned out like. And it was super cute. And the funniest thing was there was a video that she sent to her mother of them having her all dressed in the outfit, and the audio on the video, you know what it sounds like when a breastfed baby has the blowout in the diaper, and they were like,
in the new outfit.
In the new outfit.
Oh,
but
no.
I think it was all contained in the diaper from what so
that's
but
good.
yeah, so that is my one finished object right now. So I don't have any finished objects.
Okay.
Do you have something you
I
want
do. So my first finished object is this really cute cardigan. So
absolutely
yeah.
stinking adoring.
So we went to, this is actually kind of cool. So this yarn, we went to Pennsylvania, and so we went to Kelbourne Woolens, I think it's called.
Yes.
And so we went in there, and I was like, oh, and so they have a lot of stuff in that store, like a lot. And so I knew that I wanted to make a baby cardigan, and so the woman's like, oh, well, let me show you everything we have. And it was so much stuff. It was a little overwhelming. And so I had my husband with me, and I was like, I need a little bit of help here. And he's like, oh, okay. And he has a much better eye for color than I do. So he picked out all the colors here. And so this, I think you all have talked about Jen's daughter, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is going to be a baby present
For
for
Lena.
Lena. Yep. And so it's really cute. And then we're in the process right now. I had to make little buttonholes. I don't know if you can see the button.
Yeah.
There's 5 of them, and the one on the top is a little small, but there's going to be 5 buttons, and so we're in the process of figuring out what buttons need to go in it. We don't have that part yet. But anyway, so this is the Icelandic cardigan, Icelandic crochet cardigan,
I can.
patterned by Tinna. So that's what it looks like. And then she actually has sizes all the way up. This is the, okay, so disclaimer, I don't do swatches ahead of time, right? Like I just go.
Yeah.
And so this technically is supposed to be 0 to 3 months.
No.
Thinking maybe not.
No.
Maybe it's a little bit bigger.
I would say 6 to 9,
Yeah,
maybe.
you know, just a little bigger.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, but her pattern, this one goes up to 7 to 10 years. So
Wow.
yeah, so it's kind of cool. So, and then they've got like all sorts of little cute, like things on how, I'm gonna find one of the pictures here. Okay, so here's like, without showing you the pattern, but there's a little cute baby picture in there. So there's all sorts of little cute things in here and stuff, but the pattern is like, it's really nicely done. And then, we were talking earlier about how I don't watch videos. So this woman is actually not a native English speaker. And so her pattern, well, maybe she is, I'm pretty sure she's not. But anyway, her pattern was originally written in another language,
Right.
and then they translated it into English.
Right.
And so then trying to follow the written directions in English did not work out so well. So I had to go to the video. And that, her video was better, but a lot of it was like, oh, don't worry about it, just go. And I'm like, no, you can't just go. You have to have it numbered out, and it has to be exact. And this pattern designer is not like that at all. Like, she's like, just go, just do it, just trust the process.
So you're not going to recommend this for a beginning crocheter then?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
No. This is not a beginning project.
So, you know what? I think, does she have it as an adult pattern? Because I
No,
think
but
that
she has
would be
similar. She has similar ones for adults.
super cute as an adult pattern.
Yeah, she has similar ones.
Yeah, I mean,
this one was
look at that
was
with
for
jeans
babies.
and like a navy blue shirt or something. You
Yeah.
could totally wear that to school.
Yeah.
Huh, that is so super cute. Your crocheting, you have to see this up close. Her crocheting is like a machine did it. It is like, I mean, my knitting, we all know my knitting. And look at this. Look at the edges on this. This is what happens when you're a perfectionist and you rip things out that aren't right.
Yeah.
And this is what you get, like beautiful things, heirloomy things.
Yeah, and mine actually, my crochet is not as, you know, it's funny, like you talk about like your legacy and stuff. So my daughter also crochets.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to say that I taught her how to crochet, but I'm left-handed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of my other challenge is like when I'm learning how to do something, I have to, everything's written for right-handed people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have to learn how to do it. But anyway, so she wanted to learn how to do it. And I was like, great, but I can't teach her because I'm left-handed and she's right-handed. And so her stitching actually is way better than mine now. Much, much nicer. But anyway, so there we go. That's my stuff. So that was my first done object. And then my second one to share is my hat.
I love this.
Hello.
And see, I would not have thought that hat. Oh, you want to wear it? You want to put it on a model?
Sure.
Oh my gosh, it's cute. It's a good color for you. It brings out the blue in your eyes. Yeah. But look,
good for
I
winter.
would not think that that was the same hat because you did it all in the one color versus the two color. And to me, that makes it look totally different.
Right. So originally, so this is the Macy beanie by Mrs. B's Crochet is the lady who did it, and she puts this as an intermediate advanced hat. But I'll confess, I started making it when I was a beginner. So you could, as a beginner, do it. But the nice thing about this hat, like if you look at the pattern here, you start on the bottom and then you work your way up. So you can make it as big or as small as you want. And then, so like originally, like the hat should look like this, but I like personally the bigger band. And so I take it and I fold it up. So it's a little different than what she has here. She just has the one single band, but I basically doubled that single band here. It's twice as big so that it can roll up. And then it looks more like a beanie as opposed to
one of those
like,
poofy hats.
Like a poofy hat thing, yeah. And then when I first started making them, I did put I bought a bunch of these obnoxious faux fur
people
pom-poms.
do like those.
Yeah, people do. And then people outgrow them and then they're like, oh, I don't want a pom-pom hat anymore. And so then we have to make a whole new hat.
No, you just snip off the pom-pom.
Yeah, we tried that. It didn't work.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought they were all like tie-on or, you know, they have a little button that
Well,
you
when you
slide
have
in.
a little kid and you want to tie it on so that they can't yank it off, you tie it on like super, super tight. And then when the kid's like, no, I don't want pom-poms anymore. So then you snip it off and it's so tight that you snip the whole thing. And then you're like, oh, just ruined it.
Oh.
So we've now learned you don't snip it off. You just make a whole new hat, which is fine. So anyway, so this is Malabrigo yarn, which is like my absolute favorite yarn ever. Best yarn ever. Also sold here at the store. But,
what kind? Like Washted?
It's Washted, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's super soft and super nice and warm and fuzzy, and it's great to work with, and I love it.
And
so
I'm going to put it up close just so you can see. The colors in Malabrigo
so
are
nice.
just so
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
So that's like my favorite.
Yeah. That is a good one.
So, and then I was going to show my sweater that I made, but I forgot it.
So we can insert a
next
picture, put some information in about the sweater, or next time you come on the show.
Or next time, yeah.
Okay.
But there was a sweater, and the sweater was entered in the San Diego County Fair, and it did not win anything this year, so it was sad.
Well, but you know.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, you can't win them all.
No.
So.
Well, we're going to go to works in progress, but before we do, I think you need to show them this because, okay, when I talked about Chris being like a perfectionist, she's also very organized and always has been an organized and a planner. And so I, in theory, I got one of those books, and I actually even got one that was made for knitters. And in theory, you're supposed to write things down, like your date and everything that you start and the needles you're using, and take notes and stuff like that. And I never do. I mean, maybe once in a while I remember, or I write down the date I started, but I never put in any notes or anything. And I always just have to look at the end, because I always have to go up one size on the needles. And but anyway, so explain your cool thing.
So when I first started, I had lots of projects, and there was like little piles all over the place, and I needed some way to keep them organized. So I found this woman was selling these, and it's called My Crochet Bible, My Crochet Project Bible. And so inside, I'll just open to a blank page so you can kind of see it. But it basically gives you all of these like project information about it, right? So it has your name, where you started, where you finished, kind of that stuff that you mentioned, like all the background stuff. And then it gives you a backside that is just blank, so you can do design notes and stuff. So I started doing it a while ago, and then originally I thought, oh, well, I'll keep it as like a keepsake and remember all the things that I'm making. But usually what ends up happening now is I'll be like, oh, I did that, and then I'll just tear out the page and throw it away. Yeah.
What?
So it literally is all the works in progress. It's not anything like all my done stuff is pretty much gone. But
Wait.
So I don't save them.
Why? If you've got it in a
Because it was like
spiral bound
disorganized.
book.
It was disorganized, and I didn't like the disorganization piece. So, and then like kind of it got sloppy a couple times. And stuff
Oh
like that.
my God. Okay, okay.
Okay, so lots of works in progress in here, and we should do like the whole, you know how you have your knitting in the wild? You should do crochet in the wild and have people film their stashes, right? Like, that would be really fun, because I have an entire room that has all this yarn in it of all of my projects that I haven't started yet, right? I know you have one too. So
No.
yeah. Deb's is actually worse than mine, disclaimer. Mine's bad, but Deb's is worse. Anyway, so my first thing here, which a long time ago I started, it's called My Favorite Crochet Pullover by KT and the Squid, is the person. And you can see here, like I wrote down, here's the yarn that I have for it. And then on this side, I've got the sizes that I was gonna do and everything else. And I bought the yarn and I have it all, haven't started it yet. Haven't had time. Okay, so that's a work in progress.
And you think that's a problem somehow?
Well, I need to, like at some point I need to do it. Like I'm working on it. Yeah. Okay, then, this one was one that I actually did. Okay, then here is I'm gonna be doing this jacket. And so I mapped out the whole thing for the jacket on how I want the jacket to go. And started it, like have the whole pattern thing going, and I bought all the yarn for it and everything else, and it's halfway done. So still working on that.
Okay.
Okay, then this was my poncho. This one I actually kept in there. This was the poncho from the fair. So this one actually is finished. And then I bought all of this stuff from Explorer Knits and Fibers. And so I bought all their yarn to make this cable pullover. Still have it, haven't started it yet. Okay, then my friend who was at the fair, she had a vest and a hat that she wore for her performance every day. So I actually did that. And so I had to map out the whole thing on how I wanted the granny squares to go. So that was all the pattern notes on that. That one actually I did finish. And then I think that's it as far as stuff goes. But so also, I don't think I put it in there yet, but my other works in progress. I'm making, this was a crochet along. And so it's called Blossom and Buds.
Okay, I want to go closer because you have to see this amazing pattern.
Yeah, so it's a crochet along, which means they give you a week of the pattern at a time. And so at the time, back in May, when they started this, I was like, oh great, I can do a week at a time. Turns out you can't do a week at a time when you're working full time. So now my summer project is to do it. And so I have gotten, it's a log cabin version. So I don't know if you can tell, but you do like a side of it, and then there's another side of it that goes, and then another side of it that goes, and then you keep building upon it that way. So the first part, the first square, the center square is done. And then it's gonna map out like this here. These all go together. So this is the first little
then
insert part.
she would have to make the daisy in the middle.
The daisy I haven't done yet.
Okay.
And then this is the next side of it that goes here like that. So those are the next little flower pieces on there.
This is incredible.
Yeah, so that I'm working on that. And that one's fun because they said it was good for beginners. And so
this is a beginner.
Well, it turns out no. Not really. So they said, oh yeah, if you're a beginner you can do it. And then all these people signed up to do it. And so it's funny because you can see on social media and they're like, yeah, so we started doing it and it was too hard. So now we're using the yarn for something else. And so then they share all the other things that they're making. But
yeah, baubles are usually not a beginner thing, at least in knitting.
It was a little tricky.
Yeah.
But so anyway, so we're gonna see the tricky part has been because I don't measure, right? And so I'm just literally just following the pattern and praying that when I finish it's gonna like all line up like it's supposed to.
Well,
so far
block a little.
Yeah, you can block it and stuff too. But so far like my first two squares are pretty close to matching. But then they were saying like with this one you have to, like you can see on the back, I haven't sewn anything in yet, but you have to carry all the lines through. So like the white gets carried through and then they kind of allocated for size growth with the carrying of the yarn, but not really. So now I'm like, ooh, is it going to match size wise? Is it still gonna, like these are supposed to match up lengthwise, but you can see like maybe by the time I stretch it and block it, it should be okay.
I think it will be.
But that'll be a challenge with this project is to make sure that all the squares match.
So I want to look at the back because I've never seen color work crochet before like this. So on knitting, like if I was going down here, I would carry my float across the back.
Yeah, so the white is carried all the way through.
Okay.
The goldenrod like was just put in that one spot.
Right, but okay, so you're saying the white is carried all the way through,
right.
But where's your white? Oops, sorry.
Oh, I already cut it out because I was done with those.
I just undid something.
That's fine.
I'm sorry.
Put it back together.
Because this was done, and so you cut your white off.
That white section was finished, and so I ended it. Yeah.
But yeah, you don't see floats in crochet like you see them in knitting. I mean, like in knitting.
You're not supposed to.
Well, yeah, no, in knitting on the back of a color work garment, you're going to see the float laying on the yarn.
Yeah, it's in there. Like you can kind of, like if you really, really look, you can see the white in there. But I've gotten pretty good at hiding it because that's, you talk about type A personality, right? Like I don't like it showing.
Oh my God.
So yeah, so by the time I'm done, like you will not be able, like all of this, when this gets sewn in, you won't see this anywhere except for where it's supposed to be seen. Like on the back side, it will literally just be it'll be the circles and the circle, and then that's it. And you won't see any white on the outsides. Like I'll sew it all together so you can't see it.
Oh my gosh, that's like so different than, because you see them, and in fact you're supposed to see them, and they're supposed to be perfectly straight and no tension on them in knitting. So the back side of your garment is...
so funny that you should mention that, because now my other project that I'm working on, I've had a lot of them. Okay, so this is my next fair project. Like this one will take me a really long time. But this one's called Ancient Stories.
So is that the theme of next year's fair? Ancient Stories?
No, it's just I like the pattern.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. I don't know if I can share out loud what the...
Oh.
I'll have to ask permission first with my shares.
Okay. Well, I mean, if that's the way you're going to be, because, I wanted to get a head start on my knitting.
And we're already working on like, okay, what are we going to do for next year? But it hasn't been announced yet, and I don't want to like spill beans. So anyway, so this is my Ancient Stories.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we'll have to unroll and show.
Okay, so it's going to be a big blanket. It's a big blanket. Big, really big.
Oh my gosh.
Big blanket.
Gosh, look at this.
Yeah. So
I have this much more that's off camera.
Yeah. So really big, long, pretty one. But this one you can see on the back side.
Oh, the floats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I hate that. Like
no!
I tried to learn how to do reverse, so because there's a way you can do it where you can crochet the same pattern but in reverse on the backside, but it uses like 3 times as much yarn.
No, because look, all of her floats every one is stitched into a stitch.
Yeah.
Nothing lays across the fabric like it does in knitting.
Yeah.
So this is crazy, like that bugs you. Because
I think that looks just really sloppy. I don't like that.
Oh no.
So I'm thinking about when I finish this, probably what I'll do is put some fleece on the back of it and have it be like a fleece back lining so you can't see the stuff.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's my plan.
You know what someone was telling me the other day too, just as an idea for you, but I have a Christmas blanket that was one of those same kind of things where, you know, like the last blanket that you had. Every month they released the next square that you were supposed to get done, and it's color work. And so you do these little color work squares, and then so like the first month you were supposed to do like 7 Christmas trees, and then the next month, because they're only like this big, and then the next month you were supposed to do like whatever 6 reindeer or whatever. They tell you that, you know, you bought all the yarn, they tell you which colors to use, and every month or every couple weeks or whatever they introduced you to a new one. And then I was like, okay, great. Well, of course I've made one stinking square, one square. And so, but I really would like to get it done because I think it's something that I really want to do and I want to have out of my house at Christmas. I won't be this year. There's no way I can get it done for this year. Yeah. I've got too much stuff going on, but,
Padre socks.
Well, oh my God, don't remind me. God, don't remind me of those. But anyway, a woman was saying, you know, if you took all the squares and you attach them together and then you put cotton on the back of each square before you attach it, then you can actually go in and stitch if you wanted like quilted. And I was like, and she was saying quilted around the borders, and then that's going to give it more strength, and then put your backing on it so that your backing doesn't separate as much from the knit. And I was thinking, oh, what if I just double knit and did twice the amount of squares and then somehow hook the squares together when I'm so that the front is the same as the back, or do them the exact same squares but in different colors, and so I could put out one side. And, you know, like I can barely get
that's a lot of work.
Yeah, one side done. But yeah, this is amazing, Chris. So like, how long has it taken you to do this much?
So once I get going, then like it doesn't take a huge amount of time. But usually, like I made one mosaic crochet. The last one I did, I think it took me like 3 months.
Okay.
To work on,
yeah. Because we were talking before we started filming.
So once you follow the pattern, then it just goes.
And we were talking like before we started filming, mosaic crochet is kind of like mosaic knitting, where you're only doing one color at a time, and you carry that for 2 rows, and then you change to the next one. So in mosaic knitting, you're slipping stitches. I don't know what you do in crochet. Mosaic.
So you have double crochets and single crochets, and so you just do either like so here, I don't know if you can see it, but like the little short ones are single crochets, and then the bigger long ones here, those are all doubles. So like all of this yellow right here is all doubles, and then but every row in between there's singles of the yellow, so you can see it on the back side sort of better. But, so yeah, but it's all just single and double crochets, and then you're just following a pattern.
Okay, so this is probably the finished blanket took you 3 months. So
the finished one it'll be about 3 months, but that's assuming that I'm working on it every day
and monogamously.
Yeah, and that's the only project I'm working on, which obviously is not the case.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's that one.
Okay, now do you have a picture of the pattern? What was it called?
It's called Ancient Stories.
Ancient Stories.
By
okay.
BebaBlanket.
And I will put. Is it on Ravelry?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll put a picture of the pattern or a link to the pattern in it. Yeah. And what yarn are you using?
So that one, I got that. So the multicolored one is Jarbo Cookie is what it's called, and then this was a hobby. I forget what color it was, but it's a hobby yarn.
Okay.
So yeah. It's
Very
a little
pretty.
thicker, so it'll be good blanket-ish.
Yeah, it's very, very thick.
Yeah.
It's a nice warm one.
Yeah.
Huh. So, are you making it for like your living room, or are you making it for
it'll be for the
bed?
fair. I'll put it in the fair next year, hopefully.
Yeah, but I mean, like, where were you going to put it in your house?
So I don't usually keep my stuff.
Okay.
So I usually give it away.
Even
So-
a blanket like this, you would not keep?
Not usually.
Huh.
No. Although my husband did just buy me a blanket ladder, so I might start putting stuff on the blanket ladder.
Yes,
Yeah.
this would be a good one to start with on the
Yeah.
blanket ladder.
Yeah, but normally no. Normally I give it away, and then other people use it, and I never see them again. So it's okay.
So you never crochet for yourself? Like you don't make yourself sweaters? You don't?
Well, I
make
make
yourself...
I made my hat. Like
Yeah.
my hat. This is
Okay.
mine. Like,
Yeah.
I wear
Okay.
it. Like, but that's about it. That's as far as I've gotten.
And no socks or no mittens or okay. How about sweaters? Why don't you make yourself a sweater for? Stop it! Stop talking to me! Stop listening to me!
I could, but I just that just hasn't been what I've done so far. Like I get on little I got into the blanket thing with the mosaic crochet, and then I thought I was going to learn Tunisian, so I started on that little.
Oh yeah,
side
that
load.
pattern I sent you the other day was super cute.
But I haven't done that yet.
Well, I
So
didn't know it was
that's,
Tunisian when I sent it
that
to
was
you.
an in progress thing, and then I was like, and then friends are having babies, so I was like, oh, I'll do
yeah.
all the baby stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I just start doing other things, and,
Yeah.
and I haven't done.
No, I know. It's-
Eventually, I'll do
Yeah.
more stuff, but not there yet. So, and then my last thing was another baby one, so it's just a little tiny. So there's one sleeve that's done. I only have this much yarn left, which is not very much.
Yarn chicken.
So I have to, I'm totally playing chicken with it. I have one more sleeve to finish, and then this much has to get here, and then and then the border. I think I haven't done the border yet, so I got to do the whole thing with the border. But yeah, so this one was cute. It has, I like the back side. I don't know if you can see where it all comes together. So yeah, that's it.
Very cute.
Yeah.
What pattern was that one?
So this is a designer called Petit Violon. I don't speak French, so I have no idea.
Mon Petit Violon Designs.
Yeah. And it's just called the Pattern Button Jacket. I think she's another one that originally was in French maybe, and then she switched over to English.
Oh, I like the way the button thingies are going to be.
Yeah.
It gives it something different.
Yeah, so it's going to be really cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
And see, I would still put monkeys on mine or something. we were in the back room
Trying to find buttons.
fighting over what buttons she should put on the other thing. And my idea, I found the absolute perfect buttons, and there's only 4 of them, and there's 5 buttonholes. So this is the Deb thing. I'm like, okay, if you just took a little yarn and sewed this buttonhole closed like this,
then
no one would ever know there was supposed to be a 5th buttonhole,
I
and
would
you
know.
could use the toggle buttons, and they would go sideways, and it gives it more room between the buttons, because otherwise you've got on this side button, 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 button. You've got 5 little holes and 5 little buttons in this much space. That's a lot of buttons, and the toggle ones look so good. And it's like, if you just sewed that like this, boink, it's gone, and you could have toggles.
But I would still know it was there.
But you're not the baby, and you're not going to be wearing it. And
The baby's not going to notice
the
anyway.
baby's not going to know, and the mother will never know, because the mother probably doesn't crochet. And look, there, ooh, stitch
Yeah,
done.
She'll watch this video, and now she'll know.
And she'll say, Deb was right about the toggle buttons, doggone it.
She's gonna get the sweater, and she's gonna be like, "Oh, I wish it had been in the toggle buttons." Oh, she likes toggle buttons.
Oh, see? Oh, we need to bring in the
Great.
toggles. We'll have a vote. We'll have a vote. Okay, well, I have some works in progress. That's all I have, are works in progress. And same, I have told everyone with children I know they are not allowed to, they are allowed to get pregnant in 2025, but they are not allowed to have a child in 2025, because I want to knit for myself next year. Next year's going to be the year of Deb's selfish knitting, and I am going to
After you finish all your baby
yes,
stuff and
after
your
I make,
socks.
yes, all my socks for other people, all my baby things. So look, I have this much left. And then I am on to the last gigantic ball of yarn. So I have been working, I went on a Netflix binge and Hulu. I signed up for Hulu last night because Jen told me about a show called something in Wrexham about Ryan Reynolds and another guy robbed somebody who bought a soccer team, in real life, in Wrexham, England. And she said, you got to watch this thing. It's really good. I've started getting into soccer movies, which I don't know why, because I don't watch soccer at all, but my son-in-law does. And he has soccer games on when he comes over to my house. So anyway, this will not go up before Jen's shower, but oh my gosh. So by the time you've done, it is just acres and acres of stockinette and garter, and that's all it is stockinette and garter. And nothing sewn in on the back yet. But it's my favorite yarn, my Euro Baby Fair Isle yarn that they've discontinued, and it just makes such a pretty pattern. Even it's just random, and it just makes such a pretty pattern. And every time you put a new ball on, it's a teeny little bit different, but it's like, it's the same. And you get the little picks and everything that the Fair Isle has in it. And it is my favorite thing to do for a baby blanket. It's just 180 stitches, and you do 40 stitches of garter stitch, then 140 stitches of stockinette, and then 40 stitches of garter stitch. And I learned that my sides aren't the same as I think you do 30 rows down at the bottom. And so then you measure after 30 rows and see how long is this. And then, you measure your sides. You measure the 40 rows of garter stitch on the side and see how wide is this. And then you make this match. You go until the bottom of it, the garter stitch, matches the top, and then matches the sides, and then you weigh your ball. And so I know I have to have 50 some grams of this left.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, I know. It's way too much freaking math for me. Sorry, Emily. Way too much math for me. So anyway, I have to have like 50 grams of this left in order to get my border at the top to be the same.
Okay, so I just have a quick question though. So if this has been discontinued,
yes,
and you're having to weigh it to make sure that you have enough, like what are you doing if you run out?
I don't run out.
Did you buy this out before?
Yes, you can still find it. People still have it because it was such a popular yarn.
Okay.
And I had, because this one is my favorite out of all the ones I've ever used. It's called Vintage. And so I had made one for Jordan's baby, Margot.
Right.
And so I had 2 extra balls because for some unknown reason I thought I had to order 6 balls. So I ordered 4 more balls, thinking that I had to have 6 balls again for Jen's. So I will have actually 2 extra balls, which I will make baby hats out of for the charity bin, or maybe baby sweaters out of, because I saw it actually knit up in a sweater, and it is stinking cute in a sweater. And it would be a nice warm softy one. So anyway, but this is so anyway, for the last 2 nights, I have done like 4 to 6 hours of Netflix and Hulu after dinner. I go from 7 to 11, 7 to 11 of non-stop Netflix or Hulu, and that's how I was able to get to the end of that ball. And because I just put the new ball on at Cannon Beach last week. Oops, yeah, we're down to the end. And was knitting, and poor Jen, she already knew the color she was getting because she had seen Jordan's, and then I had to knit it in front of her at Cannon Beach because I had no option to get it done if I didn't do it. So anyway, this is whip number 1 is Margot's baby blanket. Lena's baby blanket. Margot already has her baby blanket. And this one is the other reason I like this one is your blanket that you're doing. I consider those to be heirloom blankets, like a blanket pattern. Can I see your pattern again?
For what?
The pretty blanket, the really super. I mean, this one's pretty, but this you would never take out to the park, to the beach. You would put your baby on it and you would wrap your baby up, but this is a special decorative blanket. Mine is meant to go to the park, throw it down so you can put the baby down on the grass. Put it down on the sand so you can put the baby down on the sand. You know, put it in your house on the floor so you can put the baby for tummy time. And, you know, that would be good for tummy time too, because that would give the baby a lot to like grab for. But, so mine is like, I consider mine to be the workhorse blanket, you know, and like for blanket forts and stuff like that, you know. So, but I think every baby needs one of those in their life, you know, every family needs one of those. And then you have like the ultra special ones that, you know, no, don't spit up on that one. No, don't, you know, and, or the, you know, you use for the pictures and, you know, it's the cool blanket. So I will never do like a baby blanket like that, because my blankets are the serviceable, throw it down on the grass at the park, because we've done it many times with my blankets. And then my second whip, and I have to get this done. My goal is I have to finish Jen's by what, next week? Oh God, next week, right?
You have a week and a day.
Okay, lots more Netflix. Yeah. Thank God I just signed up for Hulu and there's a whole new bunch of shows.
Mine's all done.
Shut up. Okay, so my next one is for myself. I'm going on my fantasy knitting trip that I talked about in the last podcast. And when I was at Knitting in the Hills in Austin, Texas, I took classes from Olga. And you can see her, I think Olga Jazzy is what she goes by, but she made this shawl out of the Myak yarn. And this is the one I went immediately to the Myak booth, said, I am going to knit this shawl and I want exactly the same colors, because when I travel, I wear blues, blacks, whites, and so this is perfect. Thank you. I always hold the pattern in front of me, and so I started. So I have to get this done.
Oh, look at this! This is so cute. Look, you have to look at that.
My end holders. Oh, yeah. Megan sells these here in the shop, and I had to have the chickens when she got those
so
in.
Cute.
But this is my beginning of my shawl. I'm almost up to where I'm going to be at this, what they call the center section, where I'm getting to the point. And this is, it looks super hard because Olga does things, I don't know if you can see it, in 3D. So all of Olga's patterns and knits are in 3D. But this particular pattern, it's called the Sawa, S-A-W-A shawl, is nothing but knits and purls and slipping stitches. You have to make a stitch every now and then, but it's nothing but knits and purls. And it's the way you do it, and you can really see it on the back. You never have to, you only carry, you make I-cord on the sides, and your floats you carry it up the side, and it gets covered up by your I-cord the way it rolls in. So every time you knit, you twist the yarn. That is the one annoying thing, is you keep having to untwist your yarn. I haven't figured out a way to get around that yet. Although I saw these things on Amazon and I ordered them, and I'm hoping it's a thing on a twister. Okay. And I'm thinking maybe it'll be easier to untwist. But this is how it looks on the back. And so you never see, you do see the floats, where you're carrying the floats and picking up the float for the next color, but that's the only difference, except for, you know, the pattern is here. And it's just crazy. I think it's just crazy beautiful. And I cannot wait to wear this with like my black leather jacket and some jeans and a white blouse. And I want to take it on my trip to Copenhagen. And then if I have a black dress to go out in the evening, I mean, I just think this is going to be so nice. Cool. And I'm really loving it. I haven't had really any problems, just, you know, like a couple mistakes that, or I end up with an extra stitch, which I knit two together. Like, I know you would go back and rip it out, but I knit two together and no one will ever know because it doesn't matter. So anyway, I'm almost done with the first end. So this is just the end of the shawl. Then there's the side, and then there's the center section where you go down to the point. and then I have to do the other side. And it's not a fast knit, but it's not a hard knit. I mean, like once you get it going, you just have to pay attention on, I won't show you all the pattern, but you have to pay attention what row you're on, because some you have to make increases. And when you first knit, you have to knit a different amount on every color to get the ones that you're gonna pull up. So like one time you might be knitting 12, and the next time you're going to be knitting 4 to get the pull-ups to be the same. So anyway, so this is my Sawa shawl that's getting there. But this needs to be done by the end of July too, because I decided I wanted to bring one thing that actually looked like I knew how to knit. And so it's like, I don't want to just bring something in stockinette that's easy, of course. So I want to bring one thing that looks like I'm an actual knitter. And I mean, this shawl does, I think it makes me look very impressive. But so Jen and I had been raving about Sari Nordlund. And this vest, and how she had styled, it's called the Rosenlund top.
Is this the one that she saw on the TV show or something?
Yes, and how she had styled it with a baseball cap and a pair of jeans to go to the baseball game, and then you could wear it with a jean jacket. She wore it as a shell underneath a blazer, and she styled it so many different ways. And so I thought, okay, I'm doing it. Okay. This is beautiful pattern. Sari Nordlund, you are a genius. So beautifully written that I have not had to ask Megan for help on it. Now, I'm not very far, but I have not had to ask Megan for help on this. And I thought I would be living here at the shop. And so did Megan, I think, when I said, I'm going to make this Sari Nordlund top. And she's like, oh, dear God in heaven. But it's so well written, so clear. And I bought, just to like the icing on the cake, I think I have one skein that's not wound. I bought the Myak baby silk. So it is
fancy,
dreamy. Like, I want this to be an heirloom for me. I want to be able to wear it under my black leather jacket. I want to be able to wear it with just a pair of jeans. So this is what I've got. And I've got to get the whole thing done by August 30th. And so this is what I've got. And this,
can you feel it?
Yes, you can feel it.
Oh, that's nice.
It's,
very
and
nice.
this required using cable needles already, which I had only done little cables on fingerless mitts, Julie's fingerless mitts I did cables on. So they were like, little 2 cables and then you're done. And I have dropped the cable needle so many times. And the thing that I'm loving about this yarn, because here's my little plastic cable needle. And the thing that I'm loving about this yarn is it holds its shape. So when the cable needle falls out, which it does constantly on me, the little loop doesn't leave. And so I can just slip the cable needle back in.
Good.
And it's like, oh, thank God I picked a good yarn to do this. But I am so excited for this. But okay, here's what we've got to have done.
Oh, wait, and you're using the yak.
Oh, and I'm using the yak, yes. So,
that's classic.
yes. So this is what we're gonna have done, front and back. Front and back, the whole thing has pattern. I believe it's mirrored on the back. I don't think the back is plain. And so I figure if I gave myself all of August, so if I can get the blanket has to be done next week, then I've got a few days extra, 29, 30, 31. No, it's July, 30, September, April, June. Oh, July has 31. A 31, thank God. And so we can maybe get the Myak shawl done if I start doing.
And then socks.
No socks at all.
If you're gonna get those socks on, you realize there's only 24 weeks until Christmas, right?
Stop.
Less than that. It's
Don't
less.
torture me like. But I have two kid feet. 2 of the socks are kid feet. And I could make mine, seriously, I could make
You could
mine
make yours kid feet
later.
too.
No, I could make mine later. I could do Mike's is 1.5 socks.
Okay.
I could do Mark's, then Amy, then 2 kid feet in a big hurry in December. And I could take one of them on the plane with me. It would be very good plane knitting. Okay. And then poor Pam has her shawl, which I thought I would be giving to her, and who knows
we
when
should all take bets on whether Deb is going to
finish
socks.
Pam's socks or the shawl.
And the shawl.
And the shawl.
You can have a running like one of those spreadboard, like what month and what day do you think she's going to finish?
And then everybody you can draw squares, random squares, exactly. and do it. But so anyway, that is my third active whip. Like I said, I have a few at home that are non-active whips, but I don't have any birthdays that I'm knitting for coming up. I mean, I have birthdays coming up, but I'm not knitting them anything for the birthdays. So it's really get this done. Then on my trip, I can bring. Well, I do have another garment that I'm supposed to make for a baby that's due September 5th, which is going to happen in October. There's just no way I could get it done by September. No.
Send a picture.
Yeah, I can take it. I can take that with me on the trip and a sock, and that would be good trip knitting for my knitting trip. And then I will have my 2 things that show I can be a knitter too, but I can also make vanilla socks that are City Connect colors. So those are my whips. Let's pause for just a minute. Okay, we're back, and we're going to talk a little bit more about crochet, and specifically about granny squares, because I asked Chris, and I think a lot of people, especially today, because they're having a huge moment again.
It's very trendy.
And I think that's kind of like a gateway into crochet for a lot of people, is the granny square. And because you can sew a bunch of them together and make something, or you can make a big one and make something. And so I think it's something that's trending. And so Chris is going to talk a little bit about, she brought a book, and she's going to talk a little bit about granny squares and give us a little bit of information about it, because I know nothing.
So once you know how to do single crochets, which is like the basic stitch, you can make a granny square, right? Because it's just a matter of following a pattern and putting them in order and stuff. So I have brought with me, we made, so this past summer, the fair theme for the San Diego County Fair was Let's Go Retro. And so our friend has the bird show at the fair. And so she had, her bird show was called That 70s Bird Show. And so we made her a hat, which kind of looks like this one here. And then we made her a granny square vest.
Oh, and you sent me pictures. Yeah. I'll insert a picture.
So, and so we made her a vest, and she actually wore it every day during the whole entire fair season, which was kind of cool for all of her shows. So I was like, oh, that's so exciting. Yeah, and then the funny part was, and then she sends me a message halfway through, and she's like, yeah, so people keep asking me if you're going to make more of these and start selling them. And I was like, oh, no. Like, it took a long time. So I was like, no, I'm not. And she's like, but look, here's this woman's number, and she wants you to call her and make her one. And I'm like, yeah, no. So it's fun when you do it for your friends and you give it as gifts. It's not so much fun when you're like
cranking it out like a machine.
Yeah. So anyway, this book I got that's called Granny Square Chick, and it's got like kind of trendy modern things that you can do. So here's just like a little bit of the table of contents. So there's bags, and there's vests, and there's hats, and there's headbands, and all sorts of cool stuff that you can make with it. But it literally is the same square, and then it's just a matter of how you put the squares together to go ahead and make it. So I had bought a bunch of cotton yarn. You can get it at like Michael's and Joann's and stuff. Super cheap and easy and fast, and then you just can whip up all your squares and then put them in different configurations and make all sorts of cool stuff.
Now, have you ever made granny squares in anything except for cotton?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it different to make a granny square in cotton versus like a wool yarn?
It's the same thing. just it depends on like the cotton is stiffer. So for hats especially, it's nice if you're doing a summer hat and you want to have a nice, like not a wool hat, you want to have a cotton hat that's like bright and summery and more like keeping the sun off your head as opposed to keeping your head warm. That's why we like the cotton. So that we were going for a lot of more cotton type things just because it was light and summery.
Yeah,
as opposed to thick, heavy stuff.
I was looking at, okay, so this looks kind of like unmoving to me, like, but this looks like if you would do it in, you would want to do it in wool or something because you would want it to be form-fitting to your head and not as stiff. But I can see what you mean about like a hat brim. You're not going to want it to flop, and so you're going to want it to be more cottony.
Right.
And then, oh my gosh, look at this. They just turned the granny squares on their sides and made them into diamonds. Okay, see, like this blows my little spatial mind here that you could turn a granny square on its side and make it a diamond, and then it's not a square anymore, but it really is a square. Yeah, but it's just how you put it together. You're right.
Yep.
And like this definitely looks like it should be like out of wool or something because you wouldn't want it to be stiff on you like you felt like that. But a bag would be perfect for cotton. Yeah. Huh. And then look at her. She's got like a little snood cowly kind of thing going on. And a headscarf. Like I heard headscarves were making a comeback. These little headscarves where you leave part of your hair hunk hanging out of the front of it, which I don't understand, but because when I wore a scarf, I was doing it to keep my hair back out of my face. But this is evidently the cool thing now.
It's the super trendy thing. And we actually just, we ran into a friend the other day and she was wearing a headscarf that it was crocheted and she had bought it off of Etsy. And I was like, you bought that? And she's like, well, yeah, because I don't know anybody that crochets. And I was like, hello. Like, why didn't you ask?
Oh my god.
She's like, well, I didn't know. And I was like, we'll make you some. And then you don't have to spend the crazy Etsy shipping prices and stuff.
Okay, wait, look, here's a turtleneck. I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to get it really close.
Yeah, so that would be more of a wool.
Okay, but it's looks like a half granny square, like a triangle.
Yeah, you can do half grannies too.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well, look at that.
Yeah, and there's also like hexagonal ones and octagons.
Oh, I saw that. I saw
so
like I think it's Nitty Natty or somebody's making a hexagon blanket that I think she's
so it's not just
crocheting.
squares. Like if you want to get more complicated, you can do different geometric shapes and stuff.
But like as a beginner, this would be
squares
something.
Are good.
Yeah, this would be something that you could easily do. Just making a bunch of squares and then learning how to put them together. Yeah. Okay, so how did you learn to do squares? Did you watch a video on YouTube?
So I don't watch videos.
Excuse me? Pardon me?
Yeah. So being left-handed, videos are hard because most of the videos are made for right-handed people. And if it's a left-handed person if it's a right-handed person trying to show a left-handed person how to do it, they do it left-handed, but they do it weird because they're right-handed trying to show a left-handed way. So I usually don't watch the videos. I just read the directions.
Okay.
And worst case scenario, I'll go and look at a video, but very rarely. Most of the time, I'll read the directions. Ideally, you want to have like a live person teaching you. So, and I think you mentioned that Needlecraft is offering granny square classes.
Yes. They are. Okay. And it's part of the beginning classes that they have here. And I know
that would be the best thing to do.
Yeah, that they just check the calendar here at Needlecraft because Erin, Megan's partner, does the crochet classes. And I know they just finished, I know like Megan's in the middle of a sock class right now and Erin had a granny square class. So if you just check their calendar for like next month's schedule, then you should be able to find Erin's granny square crochet class and then come in, learn how to make a granny square.
And then put them together.
And then you can work on putting them together. And I think there's going to be like I think a granny square 1 where you learn how to make the squares and then you go home and you make your squares and then I think a possibly a second part where you bring your squares in and you put them together and make something.
Yeah. So that's the best way to do it, is if you have somebody like physically showing you what to do.
Okay.
That's what I would recommend.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, like this almost, like I said, it almost makes me want to learn how to crochet, only not so much. I need that second thing to stick in yarn. I don't know if I could do it if I just had one thing and I was just going like this all the time. I don't know.
Which is funny because when you have the knitting needles, and I'm like, oh, this is too much.
And it's, for me, it's like, it's on a circular thing. It's all hooked together. And so I can't do anything wrong. I've got my circle going. But anyway, well, thanks so much for coming and being on the show. And hopefully you'll come back again and be on the show again and be another friend. And I'm like ready for grief counseling because we're winding down summer here. But today's words of wisdom, it's not 2.5 weeks until school starts. I have over half a month. I don't even have to think about it for over half a month. Doesn't that sound better?
It sounds way better, yes.
2.5 weeks. So I'm starting all my teacher friends grief counseling because the back to school commercials have started, which was
Target started selling their stuff last month.
Oh,
like I was like, really? It's like not even the beginning of July. Yeah, it was already back to school sales.
It's like you go into teacher depression when those back to school ads start coming on, and you're like, oh my gosh, no. And then my husband used to sing that Staples ad. It's the most wonderful time of the year, and he would just do it over and over to torture me as the days got closer. So anyway, but enjoy that last over a half a month of summer, and we'll talk to you later.
Hey everybody, Megan from Needlecraft Cottage here, giving you a little bit of a shop update. We got our nightshades and daylights in from Harrisville Designs. Now this is a DK weight woolen spun yarn made out of American Cormo wool. And the really cool thing about these is, I don't know how well it's showing up on the camera, but while the daylights kind of look a little bit like cream or white, there's actually flecks of color in each one. So this one's yellow, this one's green, and that one's brown. And then the nightshades, similarly, is black yarn with flecks of color. And I think we have all but 2 colors of the nightshades. Daylights, we're missing 3 of the colors, but we'll be getting them as soon as they get back in stock. So again, they're both a DK weight, just the color variation for like cream versus black. And then I just think that they're really awesome in that they look black from afar, but then when you get up close to them, you see like, oh, this one's pink, or this one's yellow, or I think there is one that's totally black, and then this one has flecks of white in it, but it's kind of really neat when you get up close to them and you see how they have just a touch of color. So I remember when the nightshades first came out and they couldn't keep it in stock, so we're super excited to have it in the store.
And I think you're the only one that's carrying it on.
I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which you can order online
Yes,
if you are not able to come into the shop in Pacific Beach.
Yep, they're all online.
Thank you, Megan.
Absolutely, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
And the next part of the video is going to be a little different, and I'm going to be kind of off script, I think, for the next 2 to 3 videos because I'm doing a lot of traveling. I'm going in August back to Iowa. We have a wedding in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and I'd like to get to a yarn shop. I've never been to a yarn shop in Green Bay, so I'd like to go and visit one there. And for sure, I'm going to the one in Valley Junction in West Des Moines and seeing if I can film in there a little bit because it's a super cute shop. And I have one that's coming up for you. So instead of fantasy knitting and help fix I actually don't have anything that needs help at the moment, which is God like a miracle. Megan's screaming, yay, in the background. And, but I have we went to Cannon Beach. And so we went into the yarn shop in Cannon Beach and talked to Oregon, and talk to the girl who will be taking over the shop eventually, from the owner. And the current owner's been there for 18 years, and she's going to be retiring in a little bit, and met her replacement and talked to them about their yarn. And I picked up a little coastal yarn from Coastal Yarn Shop. Nice. And so anyway, well, we have that in this podcast. So we'll be going kind of off the end of the format for the next couple episodes, just because I am traveling. And then I'm going to film the heck out of my Europe trip. I mean, I just have to. I have to. And so when I'm not enjoying it, I'll be filming something, and we'll see you later. And next thing you will see is some knitting in the wild in Cannon Beach and the Cannon Beach Yarn Shop. And that's it for this episode.
Thanks.
Okay, bye. Hi, and I'm at Coastal Yarns in Cannon Beach, Oregon. I just want to give you an overview of this very, very cute yarn shop. And I'm going to come over to this wall. They have earth, blue sky fibers, and the cool little bags of blue sky fiber stuff. And my aspirational shawl, which I keep swearing I'm going to put on the needles and never do, but I still love this shawl. Tivoli, it calls my name, and I just can't. And I know someone that made it, and it's beautiful. Oh, did you make it? Oh my gosh. Now, how long did it take you to?
I want to say probably took me about 2 weeks.
It's like so you knit like the wind, and is that what you're telling me?
I have a problem.
Okay, so I'm talking to Dale, who works here and is going to be our shop guide today. And we are going to look at these truly cool yarns that I'll show you the ones that I've already bought. I found this one, which I just absolutely loved, and I paired it with this, and I'm going to make Joji Locatelli's Elton sweater, where you do the one strand of the mohair and then the one strand of this, and this is, I think, DK, but I've got it ordered, and they're sending it to me in fingering. So can you tell me a little bit about the Coastal Yarns?
So Coastal Yarns is a yarn that is specific to our shop. We have a dyer who dyes it for us from commercially milled yarn. We have it in 4 weights. So worsted weight is called Coastline. We have Sneaker Waves DK, which is a DK weight. Mm-hmm. We have Ocean Mist, which is our mohair silk blend, and then we do have a fingering weight.
And they're all named after places here in...
Not only places, but we have like Ecola is named after the state park. We have Terrible Tilly is named after the Tillamook Lighthouse, whose nickname is Terrible Tilly.
I did not know that's the color I got, and I had no idea what Terrible Tilly was, so now I know.
Maker, that one.
Oh.
We have Neocani Mountains. We even have one named after our neighbor, Seasons Cafe.
Oh.
They make the best Caesar salad if you're going out for dinner.
Good to know.
And of course, we had to have one named Haystack Rock.
And I have that. Julie, my friend Julie, who was on episode 5, bought me this in fingering, and I had just ordered another skein because I want to do that Italian scarf with the little eyelet things. It's kind of like a Sophie scarf, but it's got
more
eyelet in it.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, and I do like weigh it and then do half the thing, increase halfway and then decrease and use the whole skein that way, so you don't have all the leftovers.
Right.
And that's in fact the first one that I made with yarn from here, because I had never seen blue sky fibers before, and you guys, when I went up to the cash register, had one lone white skein of a DK blue sky. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to make a Sophie scarf out of it. And that was my first. So that was great. So what would you say is like your favorite thing about the shop?
The people that I get to meet
Oh,
is probably my
nice.
favorite thing.
Nice.
As far as jobs go, I really couldn't pick a better job. I mean, people, when they come into the shop, they're happy to be here, and they'll be willing to chat with me and show me photos of their projects. And honestly, 10 out of 10s for surroundings, right?
Yes.
Really can't complain there. So
Oh my
it's
gosh.
just awesome. And I mean, we're at the coast.
Right.
I have a beautiful commute, and it's great.
And you can go out to the beach if you want to.
Yeah,
I mean,
and the candy shop is right across the street.
and Susie Scoops.
and
We just
Susie
came from ice
Scoops,
cream.
Exactly. So really, it's living the dream.
Oh my gosh. Has anybody done anything from the Knitting California book? Because we have that book, and at this yarn store that I go to in San Diego, and I love the patterns, but I don't know anybody that's made anything out
I
of it.
haven't made any, but I have been eyeballing a couple. They're on my Ravelry wish list, so we will see when I get to them. But I have a very strict one project at a time.
Oh, so you're monogamous.
I am.
Oh.
But socks don't count as a knitting project. I can always have socks on my needles, but I try and only have one knitting project, one crochet project, one spinning project, one dyeing project. It all builds up. So
Oh my gosh, you do all of that.
Because otherwise I'd be drowning.
Oh yeah, I guess. Good grief, I didn't know you were a dyer and a spinner too.
Yes, I do a little bit of dabbling.
Oh, nice. And how do you like, I've done a sweater with the Noro yarn. I did kakagori. How do you like Noro?
I actually finished a dappled lace raglan fairly recently. It's a James Watts pattern in the Noro Sonata. And it was such a dream to work with. It's actually up in the corner there.
Oh, let's go over and look.
All right, I'll follow you.
Say hello, playgroup friends. And non-knitter friends.
So this teal guy right here in the middle is one that I just finished.
Oh, wow.
So, and that's a cotton, silk, rayon, and nylon.
I have to touch. Oh my gosh. And this is the Sonata, you said?
It is the Sonata. It is this color. The color 6 called teal.
This is insanely light.
It is. It's like the perfect summer top. Throw it over a tank top or...
Huh. And I would have never guessed, because that's the one thing I did kind of notice about the kakagori is by the time I got my sleeves done about, to here, and then it's kind of tunic length on me, so it's a little teeny bit longer than this. It's kind of heavy,
Yeah.
But I use, I think, small needles as well, and that looks so nice. Ooh, well, okay, I have to get a picture. We're going to sneak in, we're going to look at the tag and get all the information for everybody, and so I can remember what this is when I get home. Because that is a super cute top. So now when you finish something like this and you have to hang it in the shop for a couple months, do you like, oh, I want to wear it right now? Or
It just gives me an excuse to buy more yarn for my next project. Like, I'm already eyeballing the forest color in the Sonata there's a tank top that I purchased the pattern for called Forest, and I was like, I have to do it.
Oh,
in
yeah.
this color because I mean, it's
totally
just too
perfect,
not
yeah.
to. So,
Serendipity.
yep.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for spending so much time. I'm going to show people that look at what it's like to be here. And then you can be out here knitting outside, and I wish you could feel the breeze. It's so nice and coasty. This is great. Almost like PB, but a little cooler. Little cooler. We're actually wearing sweaters right now today, where we haven't been able to do that for the last, let me get the corner over here. So many cute things. And this peacock thing is so cool. It's butterfly. Oh, that is so cool. And the one underneath too. Oh my gosh, look at all these. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful samples and beautiful yarn. Well, thank you for letting me come in and spend some time here. And if you're in Cannon Beach, Oregon, you guys need to come in and check this place out. You won't be sorry. Hi. For today's Knitting in the Wild, I'm in Cannon Beach, Oregon, looking at the beautiful ocean and the beach scene behind me from my friend's beach house, and working on Jen's baby blanket, which is no longer a surprise because I had to work on it while I was here to get it done for her. But I hope you can enjoy the beautiful beach and the views that we have for sitting outside and knitting, because it's wonderful. I wish we weren't going home tomorrow. I'd like to stay a second week. Goodbye.